Hello, everybody. I feel like the last time I was here, I was 15 with a I have a dream speech. It's been a while, everybody. So, as y'all know, I've been gone because of my surgery, healing. You might be like, oh, are you okay? Did you get your heart removed? Are you missing any legs? No, I got my wisdom tooth removed. Yeah. It was excruciating. It was traumatic, but with a couple Tylenols, I made it through. And the healing process was not fun at all. Um, so I couldn't really talk, couldn't really say my S's, couldn't do this and that, and I don't like limitations. I don't like showing up and me not being my best version of myself. And even with not being the best version of myself, I wanted to dedicate myself to healing completely because it really takes a lot out of you. You think like, you're just gonna get wisdom tooth, let me go back to my normal life. But no, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of calories, to be able to heal a gaping hole in your mouth. So yeah, I had to do what I had to do, guys. And welcome back. I missed all of y'all. Let's say y'all haven't really missed much. And I hope I haven't missed much from y'all's life either. But through this journey of taking another break, because I do take many breaks. I think I've taken like 3 breaks so far in this journey with y'all. Through this break, I realized something important, and that is burnout. The Lord, not even I realized, the Lord revealed to me something very important, and that is burnout. So, going through the amount of things that I want to do with my life, the things that I want to get done, being young and ambitious, being young and not really putting many limitations on yourself, you can tend to walk in this path so head first. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. And that's really why I think I've taken, 2 audits so far, because you have to get rid of the things that aren't working. And going full throttle is an amazing thing, but you have to allow yourself to breathe. And with being ambitious, there is these hard work. Let's call them dry works, and let's call them wet work. Wet work and dry works. Dry work is the studying for nights on end. Dry work is the learning how to enunciate, learning these different skills that add to your gift, it adds to your purpose, your calling. Um, Dry work basically, and you have the wet work, which is the fun part. It's when you do the dry work and now your community is speaking to you and you feel so amazing. You've done this great things. You get to talk to these people. Um, the image that you saw in your head is what it was. And with the wet work, with the okay, because I did this, I get to do this now. That secondary work, you don't really know when that's gonna happen. Even as early as where I'm at in my journey, which has been a couple months, a couple months. You know, with being as early as I am, I don't know when I'm gonna have the wet work. I don't know who I'm going to speak to. I don't know how many comments I'm gonna get. I don't know what interaction, what outreach, what community I'm gonna be interacting with every time I hit that post button. So, wet work is really a lot of the motivation. You have to be self motivated, but that wet work is like, this is really why I do it. You understand? So, You go back to back to back on the dry work. You keep doing the dry work. You do keep doing the dry work. It's like planting your favorite tree. If you love mangoes, so you plant a mango tree, and you've been soiling it, you've been watering it, you've been loving it, singing its songs, you've been studying how to make the best mangoes, and your tree just isn't growing. Sometimes you get that little sprout, which is the wet work, and you're like, oh, my tree, I'm gonna be eating mangoes very soon. And then some days you just don't. Some weeks you don't. So you just feel like you're doing a lot of dry work. And in that moment, you feel that sense of burnout. Burnout is when you feel like you're doing the work, but the work isn't filling you. A lot of people get burnt out in college because they're aiming for the degree, but they're not making the money. They're not working with the staff. They're not at that big company. They're not at the goal, you know? So it really takes away from the motivation. It's like, it's not enough to be disciplined and motivated. And that's what I'm truly learning. And I just want to dish that out to y'all, to receive it how you may, but it's being disciplined and motivated is not enough. You have to actively embody motivation. It's not a 3 a.m. motivational speeches, 5 push-ups, and maybe we'll get a burger tomorrow. It's not that. It's not 5 push-ups every night. Every night, discipline, but we're still eating burgers in the middle of the day. It's somebody actively knocking on your door saying, eat my burger, eat my burger, eat my burger. And you have to decide, I'm not a burger eater anymore. I do push-ups, straight push-ups, and that's just who I am. And you have to actively yell back at that person, I'm not a burger eater. I'm not a burger eater. I'm not a burger eater. And yeah, that's it. That's how you go about that. And if you cannot approach it with that level of pressure, because pressure is a privilege. On top of that, if you cannot approach it with that level of pressure, that level of embodiment, you truly cannot do the things impossible that are possible. You understand? You can't do the things that are unimaginable, but you're making it happen. When I set out for these goals in my life, nobody said this is exactly how it's gonna look at the end. I just decided to embody things. Like right now, I'm embodying. I didn't know that I could do this until I did it. And I wasn't good at what I was doing till now, and I will be getting better every single day that I do it. These little breaks that I take, even showing up every single day, and in the dry seasons and the wet seasons, I learn so much every single day. And that's why I emphasize on sobriety, because even in the hard days, even in the days of pressure, even in the days where you're sitting in the hot seat and you're thinking, does this matter? Does this work that I'm doing right now matter? And if I get off this hot seat and say, I don't want to do this step, I don't want to take this step off this road because this road is too hard. If I take this step off, or if I take a break, or if I drown it out with alcohol, if I drown it out with weed, and I have to reroute myself back to this exact same step, because I have to walk through this step to get to where I'm at, because I have to go on this journey to achieve the dreams that I want. If I cannot do it, what happens? You know? So it's this step. Why? You don't know the why. You don't understand who. You don't understand how. But you always understand that you have to go through it, and like everything aligns after. Right after. It might be in blessings. It might be in just alignment, when you feel that sense of peace. And right now, if you're sitting in the hot seat, God knows it's not peace, but it's alignment. It's yourself saying, I have to do this. But it would be fun if I lived in a world where I could just I could just move my standards, breathe this way, breathe that way, and enjoy, and like let anybody into my life do this and that and this and that. but you don't live in that reality, and you gotta thank God because you don't live in that reality, because the version of that reality that you're thinking of is not what you think it will be, and that's why you left it. That's why you embarked on this narrow walking journey. So please, if you're feeling this sense of burnout, go back to the things that you love. You know, like the gospel says, there's a time for love, there's a time to cry, there's a time to rest, there's a time to go full throttle 100 times. There's time for everything. You cannot outrace yourself. Everything that's gonna happen is gonna happen on time, and you have to trust that. It's hard to, but you have to. It's great to see y'all again. God bless, and comment down below how have y'all been. Bye.